2 straight weeks go by and I can't fight my way out of a losing streak. Nothing possibly could go right. And then yesterday I decided, let me get out the razor. I'm tired of looking at my goatee. Let me shave it off. And last night I go a perfect 2-0, cashing in with 2 top-rated 15-time best bets, ending the NBA Finals with back-to-back 15-time best bet winners on the Warriors, and also scoring last night with a 15-time play on the Astros on the run line. If I had known all I had to do was shave to break the losing streak, I would have gotten the damn razor out 2 weeks ago. Saved myself a lot of heartache and a lot of money along the way. If only it was that easy. I'll tell you one thing. This company, the company that makes this is an unsolicited endorsement, FYI. This company, they are going to miss me because their profits are just going to drop like you wouldn't believe. Just for men, for beard and mustache. I don't have a gray hair anywhere on my body, but this little baby, this 25, 26 started going gray. Don't know why, can't tell you. But babe, I'm telling you, I've been using this stuff for every 3 days for I can't tell you how many years. Can't beat this stuff. They're going to miss me. They'll probably send me a case just to get my business back. Then again, the way I'm going, the next losing streak, I may grow it all back overnight. So, we move on. This, of course, being Saturday, let's talk about the most important thing here. Listen, in just a minute, I'm going to break down the game between the Cubs and the Pirates on the afternoon card. I'm also going to give you my thoughts of how I would wager on the welterweight title fight between Terence Crawford and Jeff Horn. That is going to be streamed on the ESPN app here later tonight. So we'll get to that in a moment. But this being Saturday, you know, each and every Saturday I give you a money-saving discount coupon code that potentially save you hundreds of dollars off your total purchase price. Say that 3 times quickly. But today, that coupon code is the biggest of the entire year because I do it twice a year to reward those of you that are still betting at this time for your loyalty and your patronage. And that coupon code is worth 30%. And the coupon code is simply 30%, 30%, sing it after me, 30%, 30%. It is a mix and match coupon, as you know. It's good for any combination of handicappers, picks, and or packages. The only stipulation, it's a one-time usage code, which means you've got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time. So why do I do it? For this simple reason. Many, many customers and gamblers stop playing after the Super Bowl. Many more leave right after March Madness. You are like me. You realize the value of playing through the NBA playoffs. That's 6 weeks where you'll have some ups and downs, but because you have the repetitive nature of the playoffs where you have teams playing minimum 4, maximum 7 game series, and you see these teams playing every other night, you have those patterns that develop. You realize how easy it is to win, for the most part, in the NBA postseason. You realize, like me, how easy and profitable and how much money you can make in the baseball season and how important it is to make money in baseball in order to build your bankroll now for the football season. Not to suddenly look for money and scrounge for money in August for September. No, now is the time you make your bankroll for baseball, in baseball for football. You realize, like me, that this is the time you do so. You're the diehard gamblers, like me. And that's why I reward you for your loyalty and your patronage. I do it now. I do it again a week or two before the start of the NFL regular season, before everybody else comes back. I'm sorry. My site, my rules, I've always done it this way because I feel those of you that are playing now, you should be rewarded most for your loyalty. Not the people that abandon the sites and then come back at a later time. Just the way I've always felt, that's the way I do it. So it's the single biggest discount of the year. And remember, with these coupons, it's not only off the purchase price, but also look at it a different way. Let's say you've been riding Jack Brayman, who's had a nice run, and you have 10 days left of the 60-day package. You want another 60-day package. That'll give you 60 plus your other 10 that you had remaining, 70 days. You're taking 30% off the purchase price of that 60-day package. But if you have an instant rebate, that is also applicable as well to maximize your savings. As usual, if you have any questions, you can always contact customer service. Now, just about everybody here had the Warriors last night, not just me. Among them happened to be Shawn Michaels, who has been on a very nice roll. Today he has another major wager release. In fact, it's his 100 dime max wager winner, number 10 out of 12, his Saturday night bailout. of the year. You get it for over half price off, just like the Warriors winner last night. It's also his $100 baseball winner, number 7 out of 9. Again, you get it for over half price off by using coupon code Sean. All your other discounts, coupons, etc. over on the home page, with, of course, the big one being the 30% discount coupon. Let's get to your complimentary play first on the Cubs game. I like the Cubs in this game. I'm willing to certainly go ahead and play them on the run line in this contest with John Lester on the hill, even though I do always worry, I guess I should say, when John Lester is on the hill when he's pitching against the Pittsburgh Pirates, because this is a team, you may recall last year, right after the All-Star break, ripped him, I think it was like 9 runs and a couple of homers in 2/3 of an innings. And in his 2 starts this year, he hasn't pitched tremendously well against Pittsburgh, although he's certainly been effective enough, but that's more of a result of Chicago supporting him with plenty of offense. His first start at home against them on April 11th, in 5 innings, he gave up 7 hits and 4 runs. In his start most recently against them at Pittsburgh on May 29th, 6 innings, 8 hits and 4 runs. But in those 2 starts, the Cubs scored 21 runs. But now he's at Wrigley. He's got a 1.84 earned run average in 5 home starts this season. He's coming off a brilliant effort against the Mets on the road at Citi Field, 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball. But let's keep in mind, the Mets can't hit at all. You and I could probably combine for a 4-hit shutout against New York right now. He had a 2.79 earned run average in his 5 May starts as well. He's going against the rookie for the Pirates, Nick Kingham, I believe is how you properly pronounce his last name, who had that stellar debut against St. Louis back at the end of April, where he had the near no-hitter. He carried it in through 6 innings, and he settled for 7 innings of 1-hit shutout ball, where he struck out, I think, 9 batters as well. But in his 4 subsequent starts, he's certainly come back to earth with a 5.08 earned run average. Now, the Cubs took yesterday's opener 3-1. They have won 10 of their last 12 games. In that stretch, they've gone 3-1 against the Pirates, who have now lost 15 out of 20, including 6 of their last 8. And that's why I think you've got to play the Cubs on the run line in this spot. Now, with that being said, let's talk about this championship fight for the WBO welterweight title. It's going to be at the MGM here in Vegas tonight between Jeff Horn and Terence Crawford. Many of you probably remember Jeff Horn. He was the guy who last July, in a fight in Brisbane, which he's a native Australian, beat Manny Pacquiao. Now listen, I thought Manny Pacquiao won the fight. It was a controversial decision that went Horn's way. I thought Manny Pacquiao carried the fight. I thought that he was the more active fighter. It was just a matter of how you judged the fight. I thought one of the judges was blind. I would have given the decision to Pacquiao, but I will admit that Pacquiao had all the punching power of a flea. He punched like a 12-year-old. He has no punching power at this stage of his career. He hasn't had any in the last 3 or 4 years, to be honest with you. But he was the more active fighter, and I would have judged it in Pacquiao's favor. But Horn got the decision. Now, Horn is 18-0-1, and he's got 12 KOs. But this is going to be his first fight outside of Australia and New Zealand. First time ever coming, obviously, to the United States. A lot of guys don't know who Terence Crawford is, but this guy is a damn good fighter. They're both 30 years old. Crawford hails from Omaha, Nebraska. He is the guy who... He's a 2-time 2-division world champion. He's the former lightweight and undisputed junior welterweight champ. Now, don't confuse Crawford with some fighters who go up in weight class because they like to eat their way up and puff themselves up. This is a guy who was having problems making weight, getting down to junior welterweight. I always like those type of fighters when they go up. I've told you before, I covered boxing for late 8 years, most of the 80s, early 90s. I like those type of boxers when they move up naturally, because when their bodies can no longer get down in weight and they progress naturally, they generally carry their punching power with them. They're not overinflated, puffed up guys that are fighting in a weight class where their body isn't ready for it and their punching power doesn't get carried with them. I think Crawford will carry it with them. This is a guy who's far more experienced. He's an undefeated fighter, 32-0 with 23 knockouts. I Height-wise, he gives up an inch. Reach-wise, he picks up 2 inches over Horn. Experience-wise, he's fought much better competition, and he is a much more polished fighter in the ring. I will tell you, though, Horn has a good chin. Now, the thing at this fight is that you can't bet it straight up because, Crawford is just an overwhelming favorite. So the thing with boxing, when you're looking at betting boxing, you've got to look at all the different sports books because there is no rhyme or reason at the odds that you are going to get when it comes to the prop plays because it's so heavily influenced by the sports books, the number of wagers they are taking. If they're getting little action, the odds are going to go one way or another. If they're getting heavy action, it depends, it's going to influence the size of those prop plays. It's amazing. You go to 5 sports books, you will find such a wide variety of prices. So I went around and I looked at some of the prices and wanted to give you some of my thoughts on some props that I would consider playing here. Will the fight go the distance? The yes wager I found generally was anywhere between plus 180 and plus 200. Now, Horn had to cut down a half-pound yesterday prior to making weight. 2 failed attempts, and he finally made weight. Half-pound, not a lot. It's not like Roberto Duran in his big, in his glory days, his big salad-eating days, when he had to cut 3 pounds some days, okay, to make weight. Half-pound, not a lot for a welterweight, okay? But, he has a good chin. Crawford, I think, has the bigger punch. I don't necessarily think that he's going to be able to take him out here. So, could you go the distance? Yeah, I like that wager. I'd make a small wager on the fight going the distance if you're going to give me plus 180 to plus 200. Method of victory by Crawford. By KO, by TKO, or by disqualification. Well, forget about the DQ. By KO or TKO, minus 200. Will he knock him out? No. TKO? Interesting. Crawford by decision or technical decision. Interesting. Even though it's plus 230, I don't think it's going to be a decision or a technical decision in this fight. I think it's going to be a unanimous decision. I don't think we're going to have any controversy here because this is not being fought in Australia. It's not in Horn's home court. Interesting, the diversity you will find in the total rounds that this fight will go. One sportsbook I found, total rounds, over 9.5, plus 120. I would take that in a heartbeat because I don't think Crawford's going to knock him out. I think the fight goes over 9.5 rounds. Rounds, total rounds over 11.5. They're basically saying, hey, it's going to go the distance. Plus 240. Yeah, that's kind of like, will the fight go the distance plus 200? Round over 11.5 plus 240, one and the same, right? So there's some interesting options there for you on how to wager the fight. Again, I think Crawford wins it. I don't think there's going to be a knockout in the fight. I think Horn's chin is going to be able to absorb the punishment. Although, again, he has never fought a boxer, a fighter of the ilk of Crawford, who has the experience and the savvy, the ring savvy that Crawford has. The Pacquiao fight you have to discount because, again, I probably have the punching power of Manny Pacquiao at this stage that he does. So, it's going to be interesting. But at the same time, I think Crawford moving up in weight is going to be tentative at the outset of this fight. I think the first 6-7 rounds of this fight, he's going to still be wary of Horn's punching power as well. That's why I think this fight is going to go the distance. So there's my thoughts on the fight. I can't wait to watch it. And the Cubs are your free play. I wish you well, guys, and talk to you again tomorrow when we do this again.